Thank you for watching Syrian Eats. Our recipe today is a traditional Syrian recipe, and it's called Yalanji. Yalanji is a stuffed eggplant or squash, and it's also made with grape leaves with the same stuffing. Today I'm going to show you how we stuff the eggplant and the squash from start to finish. Let's get started. I'm starting out by soaking 3 cups of short grain rice, or I used pearl rice, in some warm water. Let that sit while we saute our vegetables. On medium heat, add 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil to your pot. Then add 2 medium-sized onions, finely diced. Saute your onions for about 10 minutes or until they're translucent. Then add 1 finely diced green pepper and 1 finely diced red bell pepper. Look at those beautiful colors. Saute your peppers and onions for about 5 minutes until they soften up. Next, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and 2 tablespoons of hot red pepper paste. Now you can use the mild if you don't like the spice. You want to saute them for about 7 to 8 minutes until everything gets incorporated together. Next, I've drained and rinsed my rice, and I'm going to add it to my mixture. Mix your rice into the peppers and the onions and the olive oil. We want it to absorb all that flavor. Now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of allspice, 2 teaspoons of dried crushed mint, and 2 teaspoons of citric acid. And this is optional. For a little more spice, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of Aleppo pepper. And finally, towards the end of our mixture, I'm adding 2 finely diced Roma tomatoes. My rice mixture is now ready for me to plate up and let cool so we can start stuffing our eggplant and squash. So my rice mixture has cooled down. I have here some hollowed out eggplant and some hollowed out calabacita squash, my webaadengaan and koosa. I have about 2 pounds each, so about 10 from each kind. And I'm gonna stuff these. The easiest way to stuff these is really using your fingers. Now you don't want to firmly pack your rice in or loosely pack your rice in. You want to gently just stuff the rice in and leave a little bit of space on the top so the rice can expand. So I have some leftover rice mixture. There really isn't an exact measurement because each eggplant and each squash will take a different amount. So I have some sweet peppers on hand. I'm gonna hollow out the top and I'm gonna stuff those too. If you have bell peppers, you can also stuff those as well. After stuffing, use the same pot that we cooked the rice mixture in without even rinsing. Keep that leftover olive oil and flavors inside and start out by putting your eggplant in on the bottom. The eggplant skin takes the longest to cook, so I'm going to keep that on the bottom and then I'm going to put the squash on the top and then the peppers on top of that. Now before turning your heat on, I'm adding a plate on the top so they won't float up. And then I'm gonna add several bowls on top of that for a little bit of weight. And I'm gonna add some hot water on that top bowl for extra weight. I heated some water up in my kettle and I'm adding it over medium heat to my pot. You want to add enough water to make sure they are all covered. And to my water, I added 1 teaspoon of mint, 1 teaspoon of citric acid, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now, it can also differ if you added more or less water, so you can taste it and see if it needs anything else. As soon as it comes up to a boil, you want to lower your heat between medium and low for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then your dish should be ready. Carefully drain the juices in a separate pot or bowl. You want to reserve those so you can dip your yalanji in that. And remove the plate and you can plate these and enjoy. This dish is usually served at room temperature and not hot. Thank you for watching this easy and delicious vegetarian stuffed squash and eggplant recipe, and I hope you enjoy making it at home.